Prediction time. Get the picks in. Cowboys, Eagles. You guys wanted to give your predictions 2 days ago and just blow up this Friday segment. Cowboys, Eagles, pregame, 3 o'clock, right here on 105.3 The Fan. It's an absolutely loaded pregame show with Brian Broaddus, Eric Chiafalo. Then you're going to have Brad and Babe on the call. And then, of course, the postgame with Wolchuk and Broaddus deep into the night. And, Choppy, you got some guarantees and 5 things.
Yeah, I got some guarantees. Let's do the 5 things. Let's do the guarantees first. I'm right there.
Yeah, let's make up your mind.
No,
let's do that.
Listen, I'm focused on not dying right now. In 20 minutes, I'm going to throw up 100% chance. Not only will the Cowboys beat Philadelphia this week, they will cover the spread. They will beat them handily. Since 2020, the week after you play the 49ers. That team is 25, 31-2 against the spread and 21-37 straight up.
Fascinating.
You put that on the road, and they're 7-22 straight up with an average loss of 5 points per game. You make that team a road underdog like Philadelphia, and they are 2-18 straight up, Bobby Bell.
Damn.
And you make it a division road game as an underdog. You are 0-7. Losing by an average of 11 points per game.
Wow.
Now, this year, not so much.
Oh, great. Thanks for all that research and knowledge.
Oh, I got a burp. Hang on. Sorry.
So
I'm getting
Cowboys
nervous.
and
I'm
Eagles
getting very,
Sunday
very
night.
nervous. Hang on. Teams this year, the week after they play San Francisco, actually have a winning record. 6-5.
Oh.
6-5 this year. 3-0 straight up against division opponents. Cowboys won a game the week after they played San Fran. Remember, they beat the Chargers.
Yep.
The following week. So those are two different stats. I like, though, the historical one. I'm going to go with that one because it fits my narrative. And I think the Cowboys will win this game fairly easily. But I've got my 5 things right here on 105 through the Fan. Number 1, Brandon Cooks.
He's a person, not a thing.
Well, that's true. Do you remember what his line was in the first matchup?
Pronouns, Chop.
1 catch for 7 yards on 2 targets. We need a lot more out of him.
Michael Gallup numbers.
He's been very good of late. They need him. We do want a repeat of Dak's game against Philadelphia. It was a breakout game for the year for him. There were some others against bad teams, but this is the one that made us all pop. We need another day like that. Number 3, give Philadelphia a reason to punt. And what is that? That means have more than 2.5 yards on 4th down. They're going to go for it inside of that. Sirianni is right. They don't have 1st and 10s. They have 1st and 8.5s, 1st and 9s. That's just the reality for them. It's a massive advantage. Even before the tush push, and I didn't know that Kelsey stat until he said it, they were 36 of their last 38 on 4th and 1s on those QB sneaks. You've got to keep them out of 3rd and short. If it's not, you might as well just move the sticks and just not even have them waste a play. Make Philly be patient. Don't jump your routes. Make him be patient. If you don't think Jalen Hurts can beat you with his arm,
He can't.
then make him go on 12-play drives to do it. Make him nickel and dime the entire way. If you don't think he can beat you, throwing the ball, force him to. And for the love of God, please finish drives. In the Philly game and the Seattle game, they got down inside the 6 5 different times combined, and they never scored a TD. 5 times they got inside the 6-yard line and never scored a TD. That can't happen if you want to win this game and if you want to be a Super Bowl champion. So there's your 5.
Red zone defense, the Eagles are 29th in the NFL. Teams are scoring touchdowns about 70% of the time in the red zone.
Well, fortunately, we're awesome in the red zone and goal to go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I don't understand how this over-under is 52. I don't get it. It seems way too low.
They were way low on Seattle, too.
I don't understand. What's your score?
38-21.
38-21. Cowboys won by 17. Wow. Bob?
I have I just the way Dallas's strength right now is the passing attack, and Philadelphia cannot stop anybody in the secondary. I don't see the 40-point streak at home ending. So I got Dallas 42, Eagles 27.
Dang. Beatdown.
Yep.
2 double-digit wins from you guys. Some things to know. Eagles have been surviving close games for the last month. They have rallied from halftime deficits in 4 straight until the San Fran beating. Eagles defense allowed just 23 points to the Cowboys in the first game. Since that, Dallas has dropped 49, 33, 45, and 41. Eagles coming off their first game of allowing over 40 this year. Dak in November, 4-1, 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. They've won 14 straight at AT&T, longest ever for that stadium. 6-0 at home, averaging 41 a game. That's insane. Cowboys allowed 5 sacks to Filthy on November 5th, but then went 3 straight weeks without a sack before giving up 4 to Seattle. I have it much closer than you guys. To me, taking the over is easy. 33-27 Dallas. I think it's a shootout. I'm worried about the Cowboys defense more than a lot of other people after the Seattle game. I'm a little worried about Deron Bland and him now getting targeted. But 33-27 Cowboys.
Cowboys, by the way, at AT&T Stadium against the Eagles. The last time they scored fewer than 37 points against the Eagles at AT&T Stadium was 2018. 4 straight times they've scored at least 37. Every time that the Mike McCarthy era games against the Eagles, they have put up points. They put up 51 at the Link that one time. They've put up 40+ the last couple times they've played here at AT&T Stadium. This one, I think, sets up to be a high-scoring affair. The only question is, just like it was with Seattle, can Philadelphia keep up with what Dallas is going to do? Because Dallas will score points in this game.
Truckwreck.com text line, I want to know, we getting 70-30, 80-20 Cowboys?
We're getting scoregami, 38-16.
How do you know it's a scoregami?
Yeah, because I don't think that is. I think one of the Super Bowls, I think San Francisco beat Miami 38-16.
I was wondering that myself. I'm like, how many people know what scoregami is still
there is a website, right? There's a scoregami website that you can go to and plug the numbers in and see, but
we got 2-1-4. Maybe Bland will grab a pick 6 to win the game. 4-6-9, 38-31 Cowboys. There's a lot of Eagles fans, or a lot of Eagles votes here. Eagles 27-17 says the 2-1-4. Another one says Eagles 34-17. Cowboys 41-27 from the 2-1-4. And then 6-1-7 says 38-27 Cowboys. So it looks like, I'd say it's probably about 60-40 Cowboys on the fan text right now.
A lot of people in the media, national media, including Ross Tucker yesterday, says it's a must-win game for Dallas. Must win in terms of your, division hope, obviously.
Yeah, not just the division hope.
Or Super Bowl hope, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, just for I think this is, they have a lot of belief in themselves to beat Philly. Stuff they don't have against San Francisco. They know they can beat Philly. But there is this narrative right now of, are you going to show up and are you going to beat the better teams in football? This is their chance, since they've gotten on a roll, to actually step up and beat one of the better teams in football. Seattle was a nice test to begin with, but that's not the same as if you beat Philadelphia here. So, yeah, this is a huge game, I think, for their psyche. If they were to drop this one at home, everything kind of rolling their way, Philadelphia seeming like they're a little down, I do think that would be a pretty tough loss on their mental makeup.
What's your other guarantee?
That San Francisco will not win the Super Bowl this year.
Woo! Win or get there? Win.
They might get there.
Okay.
But they won't win it. They are the 8th team this century to win. That's only 23 years, by the way, Sean. To win 4 straight games by double figures and outgain the other team by 100 yards or more in all of them. Mm-hmm. Okay? None of the previous 7 won the Super Bowl. Less than half even made it there. Of the 3 that made it, 1 was quarterbacked by a guy named Tom. 1 was quarterbacked by a guy named Peyton. Brock Purdy's neither of them. And the other was McNabb and the Eagles. They got lucky. The NFC was down. The other teams, 07 Pats. I'm sorry, that's the other side. 07 Pats, 09 Colts, 04 Eagles. Those are the teams that made it. They all lost. The other 4 to do it, just period, were quarterbacked by 1 Kurt Warner, another Tom Brady, and another Peyton Manning. Again, they don't have this. Teams generally peak at the wrong time. That's part 1. They generally peak at the wrong time.
Which I am a little bit worried about with the Cowboys, too.
Absolutely. That's my next line. Maybe the Cowboys have peaked at the wrong time. Maybe the Niners are currently peaking. It's still too early to peak, right? You don't want to peak too soon.
We thought their peak was during the run versus us and after.
Yeah.
And now this is a second peak.
Yep. And maybe the Eagles were prior to this past week. And I think this also comes into play. And they mentioned this a little bit on that Saints-Lions game. San Fran has not had to play a dirty game yet this year.
What
do you mean?
What's a dirty game qualified
like
as?
A super close game, just where they don't necessarily play well, and they've got to come back and win it.
All the Eagle games.
All the Eagle games, right? The Eagle games have been dirty games.
They did. They did that in Cleveland. That was the game they played awful.
They
and
didn't
lost.
win. They lost.
But I'm saying, like, they play in those games all the time. Like, they play these dirty games all the time.
Yeah, but his thing is about that they haven't won it, right?
Yeah, and like, you know, like it reminds me a lot of, like, you know, I mean, the 07 Pats went through this. They played one game. It was against the Giants at the very end. All those Colt teams that were, like, benching guys the last 2 weeks, they just ran through them all. They never played any dirty games. They get to the playoffs, and all of a sudden, you know, these games are decided by one score.
Yeah.
San Fran is 1-2 in games decided by 8 points or less this year. Does that matter? I mean, it's only a 3-game sample size, but battle-tested teams. We saw the Rangers this year. Every other team, the Braves were on cruise control, the Rays were on cruise control, the Orioles, the Dodgers, and they all got knocked out early. The Rangers are playing tough games all the way to the very end, and they just rolled that right in the playoffs. Teams that are used to playing close games, when they get into them, are more prepared for them than not. I think it's just a reality, and I am grasping at straws here. I'm trying to convince myself of this.
I was going to say, this sounds like the team version of the Shady McCoy criticism of Dak. Like, well, he's just been too great. Like, I need to see him struggle and be bad. Like, to me, I'd rather take a team. If you're telling me...
I do worry about people in these firefighters here in stressful situations, guarantee have a more even level pulse than us.
Sure.
In a stressful situation.
It's Marvelous Marvin. All right?
Harrison?
No, Hagler.
No.
It's hard to wake up in the morning when you're in silk sheets.
Yeah.
It's hard to go train. And when you're playing games and you're running through everybody,
yeah,
you know, you don't have to get dirty.
But if you're telling me that this San Francisco team is doing something that one of the only other teams to do it was that 07 Patriots team, that doesn't make me feel better.
He said he was grasping, all right?
I know, I'm just saying.
Relax.
Stop trying to poke holes in it, Bobby.
Get ready
just
for the
take it.